I have to say it took a while, but the last couple of years of work that CD Projekt Red has done on Cyberpunk 2077 and, to a lesser extent, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, it does have me looking forward to the future of this company. You know, Cyberpunk 2, which is being worked on by the Boston studio, there's been some recent hints and indications it's going to have like a Chicago-like environment or something like that was said by the creator Mike Pondsmith. That has me interested. And, you know, there's so many different opportunities, so many different things about Night City that I can see them expanding on, so that has me excited to see where they take it with the sequel. Now, while the Boston studio is focused on that, their main Polish studio is obviously focused on the future of The Witcher, which is a new trilogy starring Ciri. This was revealed right towards the end of last year with that massive CGI cinematic, which in turn caused some controversy in regards to the fact that, again, Ciri is the star of the show moving forward. And also there was some controversy with how she looked, but regardless of all of that, CD Projekt Red finally gave us a new look at The Witcher 4 the other day, and it really wasn't supposed to be the main focus. It was more so on the Unreal Engine tools, and that's where things get a little bit muddy because there's some massive confusion online about this tech demo, which is not a gameplay demo, and the difference, I think a lot of people just do not understand the extent of it. But like I said, the last couple of months and the last couple of years, CD Projekt Red has been saying a lot of the right things. Will that result in them making fantastic, you know, revolutionary open world RPGs? Only time will tell. But there is a skepticism that will linger because of everything that happened pre-release with Cyberpunk 2077. That's just something that you cannot remove. That history is there. We tried it and it didn't work out. CDPR's co-founder says it shouldn't stray from AAA open world RPGs, and that very much is the case. They tried doing a lot with Cyberpunk. They wanted a multiplayer online, and all of that just failed miserably. Them focusing in on open world RPGs, maybe learning from like the success of Baldur's Gate 3, Meaningful Choice, Consequence, I think that's the route I think a lot of us want to see for the future of both Cyberpunk and The Witcher. It really does need to be said that these demos, this is a great example of it. This was an actual gameplay demo, the E3 2017, which we later found out was pretty much just completely faked. It's also not like Cyberpunk 2077 was the first E3 demo to be fake. We obviously had infamously Anthem in 2017. Everybody watching knew it was fake. And then even years before that, we had Watch Dogs. It's E3 2012 version versus the actual version, which we got, which was just drastically different. So a lot of publishers, a lot of game developers over the years have gotten in trouble for this, which is indeed why there is skepticism to any new demos these days, especially for ones coming for games that are just years away. This is why a lot of people are looking at the new tech demo and saying, hold back a little bit without getting too excited. Because personally myself, I actually thought that it looked extremely impressive. Like the visuals, we get some new details. This is the Kovir region. If you played The Witcher 3, it was mentioned various times, especially if you were on that Triss romance route. And look, this footage does have me excited even more so for The Witcher 4, but it's more so about the possibilities of what this game could be. It's not about, like, this footage isn't a representation of The Witcher 4 at all, and CD Projekt Red has confirmed that. We're going to get into that in a second. But yeah, we meet Ciri's horse here, Kelpie. There's some other moments here that's really fascinating. You see the muscle movement on the horse. That is revolutionary for the Unreal Engine. I think that's really the takeaway from this footage. It's about Unreal Engine. And like I said, there's just some things, there's some awesome moments as, you know, Ciri's moving through crowds. You can see her naturally moving, pushing characters out of the way. At one point, you see a bunch of fruit falling. You see all the NPCs reacting. That reactivity is something that we just have not seen from really outside developers besides like Rockstar Games and maybe even Naughty Dog. So seeing this more of a, you know, massive thing with Unreal Engine games moving forward, that does have me excited. But also, Unreal Engine definitely has a reputation that is unflattering right now, and that is because of what's happened this last console generation with open world games like this. So there's a skepticism that definitely exists. Of the things that were announced, this was by CD Projekt Red. They said, since this strategic partnership was announced in 2022, CDPR has been working with Epic Games to develop new tools and enhance existing features in Unreal Engine 5 to expand the engine's open world development capabilities and establish robust tools geared towards CD Projekt Red's open world design philosophies. This is a press release that they sent out, and look, this was one of the big reasons why they moved from Red Engine to Unreal Engine. I think it was because of that partnership of working with Epic Games. And I think the reason why this tech demo even exists is because of Epic Games probably made that part of the deal, saying like, look, we're going to help you, we're going to work on all of this, but we also want to use The Witcher 4 to market and show off the new capabilities with open world games moving forward that use Unreal Engine 5 and so on and so forth. And it was said that this demo, which runs on a PlayStation 5 at 60 frames per second, shows off in-engine capabilities, again set in the world of Witcher 4. This will help other studios create believable and immersive open world environments that deliver performance at 60 FPS without compromising on quality even at vast scales. And again, all of the new tech here, it really does look innovative. The Unreal animation framework powers realistic character movements in busy scenes. Fast geo-streaming, developed in collaboration with Epic, allows environments to load quickly and smoothly. Nanite foliage fills forests and fields with dense detail without sacrificing performance. The mass system handles large dynamic crowds with ease, while ML Deformer adds subtle realistic touches to character animation right down to muscle movement. And CDPR's joint CEO said about all of this, "We started our partnership with Epic to push open world game technology forward. To show this early look at the work we've been doing using Unreal Engine running at 60 FPS on PlayStation 5 is a significant milestone and a testament of the great cooperation between our teams, but we're far from finished. I look forward to seeing more advancements and inspiring technology from the partnership as development of The Witcher 4 on Unreal Engine 5 continues." That all sounds great, but a lot of people are also rightfully pointing out this is how the PlayStation 5 console generation began. It was a tech demo like this, and I think a lot of people forget this. We were, originally talking about how amazing and innovative this console generation is going to be, but this technology has not been utilized to its fullest extent. And maybe that changes with a game like The Witcher 4. But again, when we have footage like this, a lot of people just bring it up rightfully, saying like, look, what games are specifically taking advantage of this technology? And maybe that is the case. Maybe The Witcher 4 is the only one. But optimization and all of the different systems that have to be implemented, that is going to come at a cost with performance. And that's why there is skepticism that a game like The Witcher 4 can run properly at 60 FPS on the PlayStation 5, especially the standard base console. And this isn't coming out of the middle of nowhere. It's just the fact that, look, the Unreal Engine 5 has been a messy engine this console generation. It's time to admit it, Unreal Engine 5 has been kind of rubbish in most games so far, and I'm worried about bigger upcoming projects. This was a piece coming from VG247, a sentiment that has been felt for a while now, with a lot of open world games that are using this technology. More like Unreal stuttering, am I right? And yeah, that stutter has become notorious this console generation. That's why so many people look at the Unreal Engine 5 with kind of disgust, and I do think that is a reputation that Epic Games, and maybe even CDPR, they definitely want to shake, and maybe Witcher 4 represents that moving forward. And I really do hope that is the case. But like I said, the takeaway, the difference between a tech demo and gameplay demo, a lot of people just do not understand that. 60 FPS on a base PS5, are developers optimizing again? Are we back? And again, this is just people not understanding that this Witcher 4 is a tech demo. It's a technical demonstration. It is not gameplay. And again, some of these posts have been clarified. There was a new version of this, but 14,000 upvotes on this before they clarified. First look at the Witcher 4 gameplay. It was not gameplay. It wasn't. We had other first look at NPC interactions. Again, this isn't NPC interactions in The Witcher 4. It's just a mock-up what the game could be, and maybe even should be, and what they're aiming for. There is a clear difference that is being misconstrued, and a lot of people not understanding that. And that is especially the case for the casual audience, which many people are just looking at this with sheer amazement, but really not understanding what's actually being presented here. Another post we had, even from Jeff Keighley, The Witcher 4 in-game, it was not in-game. PS5 Unreal Engine 5. Even Jeff Keighley's misrepresenting what this is. Another person, again, pointing out a technical demo versus Rise, a game 2013, which really was just a tech demo in of itself back then. Then, yeah, again, another person comparing The Witcher 4 60 FPS versus Elden Ring Night Rain 20 FPS. Again, these comparisons are absolutely stupid because this isn't an actual game. I think that's what a lot of people aren't understanding. CD Projekt Red actually had to come forward in interviews and clarify this because people just do not understand that, and it sets the wrong assessment. A lot of people are going after CD Projekt Red because of that. They're saying, why did you even present this, especially with your history with demos and how that has backfired on this company? And this is very much going to be what people, they're going to use this tech demo saying this is what The Witcher 4 has to look like. And I hope CD Projekt Red understands that, because many people are going to eventually, once The Witcher 4 does release, they're going to have comparison shots and say, if it doesn't look this good in terms of its reactivity with NPCs and in terms of its performance, they're going to feel lied to. But CD Projekt Red sent an update, or they sent a statement to VGC saying this is a tech demo and a first look at the cutting edge technology powering The Witcher 4, but not The Witcher 4 itself. It's not The Witcher 4 game. Nothing in-game, no, it's not that. It showcases the powerful foundation we're building in close collaboration with Epic Games to push open world design further than ever before, and the core systems and features we're developing using Unreal Engine 5. Again, this was a focus on Unreal Engine 5 rather than The Witcher 4. If anything, it's just a tease at the assets and things that they're hoping to include in the sequel. We're really proud of this early milestone and excited to give you a sneak peek at some of the cool tech, and that's what they did. In a further interview, we had another CD Projekt Red developer. They said, we find assets from our game in there, the characters, the world, the way things look. Of course, that's all Witcher 4 content, just like this map area, all the mountains you see there in the village itself, that's the Witcher 4 map. Whether that will be transferred one-to-one is far too early for us. We can't talk about that yet, but this map area is the same Witcher 4 map that we brought over. And then it really just needs to be emphasized, this game has barely started development. It only went into full development in November of 2024, right towards the end of last year. So what that means is that they probably were working on this technical demo, which is more so a vertical slice, for the last 6 months. We actually saw another CD Projekt Red developer, a gameplay engineer, saying that he voiced one of the characters within this. So this probably was just a separate little project that they did in collaboration with Epic Games to show off the Unreal Engine technology. Again, just not a representation of what's actually being built for The Witcher 4, even though it is kind of the aim and the hope that they have for this game, the ambition pretty much. But we did see, again, from the actual game director of The Witcher 4, he clarified this as well, Sebastian Kalemba. He said, one super important thing to remember, this is not a demo of the game itself, but rather a showcase of the engine and its capabilities. It's an early look and demonstration of what's possible at this stage of development, thanks to everyone's joint efforts. And again, this game is still years away. It just entered full production. We're probably not going to be seeing this release until maybe 2028, 2029. Development takes a while. And CD Projekt Red, especially after Cyberpunk, they understand the pressure that they have to deliver, and they've already said that they want to revolutionize the open world RPG genre, and they're going to use Unreal Engine 5 to showcase that. And if that is the case, that is going to take some time. Especially because of the pressure that they also have, because this is the follow-up to The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, one of the best games of all time. I will say, at the very least, CDPR is marking this tech demo as what it is, a technical presentation, not actual gameplay. There in that bottom right-hand corner. It's just unfortunate that many individuals in this industry, even developers and industry figures like Jeff Keighley, aren't exactly emphasizing this point at all. If anything, they're giving the impression that this is gameplay and this is an accurate representation of what The Witcher 4 is going to look like. And unfortunately, that just isn't the case. This is what they're hopeful and aiming, their ambition for The Witcher 4, but this isn't the game that exists right now. If anything, we'll have to wait another 3 to 4 years to see this game and whether or not this holds up. And hey, maybe in the future it ends up looking better. Maybe. Like I said, the reaction from people online has been extremely, one camp, you have many people looking at this with sheer excitement, saying, oh my god, The Witcher 4 looks absolutely amazing, and then others really saying, hold your horses, this isn't The Witcher 4, it's more so just a look at Unreal Engine 5, and also people bringing up CD Projekt Red's history. This is an example of it. CD Projekt Red released a fake 45-minute demo showing Cyberpunk 2077, the E3 demo that I showed off earlier on in this video. Watch the internet go crazy over your non-existent game, repeat the process with The Witcher 4. And again, there is a difference. Again, Cyberpunk 2077, that was faked. It was just entirely fake. This, again, they've at least been very clear that this is a tech demo using Witcher 4 assets, but it's not The Witcher 4 itself. Obviously, many people on the internet do not understand that, so yeah, make of that as you will. Another comment saying it really is beautiful if that's what it is. It's something to take your hat off to. However, never ever forget, and again pointing out that Cyberpunk demo that did not age well. Another individual saying, are we pretending that 60 FPS without knowing the resolution is noteworthy? And that's another part. If you actually look at the footage, if you really zoom in, the quality of the assets, not exactly the greatest here, but again, they did get it to run 60 FPS and it did look smooth, and the focus was really just on the technology side with Unreal Engine, the NPC interactions, the camera movements, and all the other stuff that I talked about earlier on this video, which is something that many other developers hopefully will be utilizing in the future. And hopefully, again, the Unreal Engine reputation will change, because this last console generation just has not been great. Another user saying, looks pretty, but it's also obviously target footage and not what the game will even look like. CDPR needs to shut the F up until they have a real game to show. I'm getting Cyberpunk flashbacks. And that's a sentiment that a lot of people feel. And a lot of people were a little taken back by the fact that CD Projekt Red were actually being so forward with doing something like this for a game that just entered full production, and very little has been, been done with the game so far. And then yes, there has been some mock-ups. Confusing, why even bother stating The Witcher 4 demo is 60 FPS with ray tracing on PS5 while using a DualSense if it's not representative of what we'll see from the game/console? CDPR up to its misleading tricks again. They didn't say it wasn't representative of the game during the demo, and then somebody pointing out the 2313 debut gameplay trailer of The Witcher 3, atmospheric fighting, dense, diverse, high-quality foliage, and then the 2015 gameplay trailer. This is one of those criticisms that I think a lot of people don't remember, but yeah, The Witcher 3 downgrade conversation, that was something that was happening back then. It's just been forgotten because, again, The Witcher 3 ended up being such a phenomenal experience, and a lot of people do not remember the misdeeds of that game, and also the fact that it did launch a little bit broken. So, again, this is just some of the stuff that's been sticking with CDPR for a long time, but big difference. Red Engine versus Unreal Engine, very different era that we're entering with CD Projekt Red. Another person, yeah, Pirate Nation, it's happening again pointing out the 2013 in-game trailer of The Witcher 3 versus 2015. Another user pointing out, Kate Onder, a journalist, saying The Witcher 4 releasing the most beautiful, heavily scripted gameplay for a game that won't release for like 3 or 4 more years. E3 season is so back. And he followed this up saying, CD Projekt Red, please stop showing things years before your game releases that aren't even in the game. And again, that is just a sentiment that a lot of people have on the internet right now. Another user pointing out, bro, I refuse to believe that these NPC interactions in Witcher 4 are real after watching that Cyberpunk 2077 E3 demo. I know this is Unreal Engine 5 and not Red Engine, but it looks too good to be true. That's why I won't get myself too excited until the game comes out. If CDPR delivers this as promised, Witcher 4 and future games like Cyberpunk 2 are going to be absolutely incredible. And that's a position that I agree with fully. Another user saying, CDPR has a long history of overpromising and severely under-delivering. Don't buy into the tech demo as actual Witcher 4 gameplay. It solely exists to showcase the engine and not the game, and that's literally what CD Projekt Red developers are saying themselves. And the final post I'll show here, I actually have to blur it a little bit, but yeah, it's one of the most notorious bugs from Cyberpunk 2077 at launch, in which you had people butt naked sitting on top of their vehicles. Just let people be excited for something. This was in response to somebody mocking the criticism that it's just a tech demo. Jesus Christ, can you nerds just let people be excited for something? My God. And again, I'm okay with people being excited, but I also understand many in the camp of, let's be skeptical about this because of CD Projekt Red and their history. I think that's an understandable position to have right now. So look, I think The Witcher 4, the assets that were at least shown and the aim that they had for the game, it is exciting. I love seeing the Cover region. I'm sure that's going to translate mostly over to what they at least have planned. But again, they have set the standard. They have set what people are going to be expecting for The Witcher 4. That is on CD Projekt Red, and I hope that they understand that pressure, because if this game does eventually get downgraded for whatever reason, they're going to hear the wrath of the internet, and it's going to be extremely negative. Again, they just put themselves in a position in which there's a lot of pressure on them to deliver, and we'll see what happens. But right now, I very much am anticipating The Witcher 4 and Cyberpunk 2. Those are some of my most highly anticipated games moving forward. But at the same time, it is hard to ignore the fact that everything that has happened with CD Projekt Red, that skepticism is something that is going to follow. And we'll see what happens with all of that. But what do you make of the Witcher 4 tech demo? Were you impressed by it? And what do you make of the ambition, the aim of, Unreal Engine moving forward? Do you think that the reputation is going to change in this upcoming console generation? Let me know your thoughts on all of that down in the comment section below. But thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video, or if you found any informative value, consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.